Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome to the Championship Review Show. My apologies, I did not advertise this live stream. I did not think I would be going live tonight, but I didn't have an idea what time I would be coming back home to do this review show. So I'm just going to go for it, and if anyone appears in the stream with no prior warning, then do get involved. We are going to go over all of this weekend's championship action. First of 10 game weeks between now and the FA Cup. We've got John, we've got George, we've got Jaggy, we've got Toby. Excellent job. There are people around. I've sprung it out of nowhere, so thank you for tuning in. The top two have opened up themselves a little bit of a gap up there. Fulham, Brentford, Millwall, Stoke all record their second straight wins. They are upwardly mobile. Wigan and Luton carry on losing, but still hanging around outside of that bottom three. Oh no, Middlesbrough went up one, didn't they? Middlesbrough went up one. Game number one is West Brom 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. West Brom, as I said, opening up themselves a little bit of a lead. Lots of love for Millwall in here. We'll get them very, very soon. 10 minutes. It's another brilliant assist from Pereira. He carries the ball, and while he's running, he completely splits the defence through to Robson Kanu. Who would have thought that he would be the one starting up front for West Brom? But he is doing the job here. He finishes the 1v1 against Westwood. 7th assist of the season for Matthias Pereira. Robson Kanu gets his 4th goal in his last 6, but he hasn't started a lot of those games. I think he is playing himself in ahead of Austin and ahead of Zahor. 58th minute, Kravinovic gets caught on the ball here by Lee, takes him down for the penalty. Fletcher, couple of steps. And George, resend that comment, George. Sorry, I missed it. West Brom fan in the chat there. Fletcher steps up and slides it in left-footed. 6th goal of the season for him. 88th minute though, it's another penalty. Iorfa, we've had him at Ipswich, so he can switch off, although he is an absolute physical specimen when he's playing well. He lets Pereira run off him. Westwood comes out and clatters him. Westwood looked absolutely furious with Iorfa for that one. Penalty. Austin steps up. The goals haven't been flying in for Austin, hence Robson Kanu in there, but he puts it in. And on 92 minutes, it's a red card for Liam Palmer. I saw a picture of Liam Palmer this week giving his tracksuit top to a cold mascot, and then he literally maims Diangana to get a straight red. That'll be a 3 again. Thanks, George. He says Wednesday looked good in the second half, but never felt threatened by them in the final third. One up top Wednesday, clogging up that central midfield. Good on set plays, but I do take George's point that maybe not a consistent threat in the final third, but solid as you would expect from a Gary Monk team. Baggies get their 3rd straight win, and as I've mentioned twice already, 5-point gap over 3rd place now. 7 wins in the last 10 games for Slaven Bilic. They're adapting as they go. There was no Sawyers, no Livermore for this one. Kravinovic and Ajayi is the double pivot there. Higazi's back in, starting Pereira, excellent again. Robson Kanu ahead of Austin and Zahor. Goodness me. Wednesday trending downwards. Only 1 win in 6 there, including games though against 3 top 6 sides. Is the new manager honeymoon over for Gary Monk as they fall into the chasing pack behind the playoff guys? West Brom first, Sheffield Wednesday 9th. As we move on to game number 2, Luton 1, Leeds 2. Another good result for Leeds on 51. It's a brilliant assist again from Ben White this time. He carries it all the way from the edge of his own box, and then it's like with the outside of his foot on the angle, and Bamford's running on the angle as well. Really difficult pass, puts it into Bamford. He hits it low and early, but he does catch Shea on the near post there. You'd think you'd have that covered, but sometimes you go for that gap, the keeper can't move his feet, and you get the goal, and Patrick Bamford did his 6th of the season. 54, brilliant from Izzy Brown. Really doing really well for Leeds at the moment. Can I do a preview for Tuesday and Wednesday? Yes, I'll try. Leeds looking strong. Luton, the roller room of this season, says John. Yeah, who would be the Ipswich of this season? I don't think there is one, is there? Ibra says Leeds so hard to predict, and a lot of money involved in betting in this part of the world. Where are you, Ibra? Let me know. So yes, great cross from Brown. He works Berardi and then swings it in, and James Collins heads in for his 6th of the season. That's also Izzy Brown's 6th assist of the season. A lot going right up the attacking end for Luton, a lot going wrong up the other end. 90th minute, in goes Klitsch into the box. Low cross near post. Bamford's there, Pearson's there. I think it goes in off Pearson. Last minute own goal. It's the normal Leeds stats though. Lots of possession, lots of shots on goal. So you never know. John says Barnsley are trying their best to follow Ipswich this season. Touche, John, touche. Leeds 3rd win on the trot. They're up to the 2 points per game mark at 17 games in. That is impressive stuff. Since the defeat to Millwall, they've been in great form. Dallas is still helping out a left back. Still no Cooper at centre back. No Forshaw, although he was on telly, wasn't he? Shackleton either. Hernandez is back, and Roberts seems to have worked his way into that midfield. As much as I like Forshaw as a passer, if you want energy, Roberts is your guy ahead of Forshaw and can join up to the front, which makes Bamford less isolated. So maybe Roberts keeps his place. Bielsa certainly loved him last season, didn't he? Looking good for Leeds at the moment. They're off to Reading on Tuesday, but whoever asked in the chat, yes, we'll try and do a preview. I might have to do 2 separate ones, one for Tuesday, one for Wednesday. Let's go on, but just to say first, Leeds 2nd, Luton 21st. Am I wrong about that? I did these before the whole game. I think Luton are in the bottom 3 now. I think Borough went above them, didn't they? Someone will correct me in the chat, won't they? Game number 3, Derby 1, Preston 0. I got this totally wrong in my predictions. 33rd minute, one of my favourites. Waghorn gets the goal. Holmes with a corner. Davies flicks it in, and Waghorn chests it in. We're going to have one of those from Coley Woodrow as well later on today. A chest in on the goal line. Preston with their first defeat in 5. Didn't come back from the international break very well, did they? Had surged into 2nd. Thanks, Virgil says, yeah, Luton 22nd, not 21st, as I said. They'd surged into the international break, Preston, with 3 straight wins. The informed Johnson, he was back in. The team looked strong. They had Brown and Barkhausen, Stockley all played themselves in. So disappointing result. That John says Preston away form, not great for a team chasing top. Agree with that. Derby have got this ridiculous win at home, lose away, win at home, lose away, win at home, lose away. I didn't think that would keep going today. Honestly, I thought Preston would get something, but fair dues to Koku, got the win. Derby forced to make a couple of changes within half hour of this one. Shinnie replaced by Evans, Bennett replaced by Waghorn. They get the win, and as I say, continue that absurd win at home, lose away streak, which now spans 7 games. They've moved into the top half, but obviously if you've got this, you're going to go up one week and down the next, up one and down the next like a yo-yo. So let's see if Derby can stabilise their form a little bit more. Preston 3rd, Derby 11th. Game number 4 is Fulham 2, QPR 1. This was on Friday night. QPR going to an early lead. Hugo scores, bundles it in on 3 minutes, nearly cleared off the line. I guess that must have been Adoy, mustn't it? So the goal line technology gives that one. Adoy then, brilliant assist as well, like Izzy Brown's one. Great cross from the right. Camera in for Mitro, heads it. It's a really good goal, that, actually, because he gets the direction, adds a little bit of pace right in the corner. Lumley's not saving that. Speaking of Lumley, very culpable for the winning goal in this one. Tries to play out straight down the middle, straight down Stephanie Johansson's throat. He then plays Kamara in. Nice finish. Very cool for Kamara, who's in that kind of Famara Jeju realm, isn't he? Of some games just looks absolutely incredible, and then some games where no, not having it. But there we go. Can Fulham win without Mitro? Yes, they can. Kamara does the business when he gets the chance. Although Mitro's was only. How is the weather in Russia, St. Petersburg, says Ibra. Oh, that's where the money's right. Okay, I get where he's coming from. Yeah, so everything nice and stable system-wise for Fulham. They go up into the top 4. Back-to-back wins. 3 wins in 5. Looking all right. I was going to say Mitro, it was a 5 yellow cards, wasn't it? So he'll be back next game. And if you've got Mitro in this division, you start him, don't you? So I'm sure Mr. Kamara will get back on the bench. John says, didn't appreciate how good Mitro is at this level until I saw him the other week. Far too good for this league. Hold that comment as well for Jared Bowen, who I'm sure we'll get onto in a little bit. QPR now struggling to stay in that top half. 3 defeats and 2 draws in the last 5 is rubbish form, isn't it? They've gone back to a three at the back. Looks like Warburton has taken out the creative guys, as in Bright, Samuel and Chair, and he's put Kane back in, who's a runner, Amos and Ball. So a little bit of flair out, but they're still just conceding an absolute ton of goals, aren't they? I think they'll stick with the 3-5-2, but we'll see how the results go. Needs to find the happy medium, doesn't he? Nick says good, obviously a Brentford fan, revelling in QPR's slight demise. But Brentford had a good hand in. I was at that game, wasn't I? Brentford excellent in that one. Fulham 4th, QPR 12th. Game number 5, Bristol City 0, Forest 0. Two top 6 teams at the start of the day, so I guess to not lose against the direct rival is good. Ryan Yates absolutely nukes Adam Nagy with a 2-footer in this one. Ryan Yates loves a tackle. Is he going to get 4 games for that? I wonder whether they'll have a look at that. Definitely a serious foul play one there for Yates, but Lamouchi seems to like him, doesn't he? Forest survivors, a useful point, and when I saw they'd gone down to 10 men, I'm like, there were probably no better team than Forest to play with 10 men. So well drilled, probably 4-4-1'd it, didn't they? And they were going to be absolutely fine, weren't they? 6th clean sheet of the season, they stay up in 5th. Remember that game in hand against Reading in January. Will it mean anything? Who knows? There's probably going to be more postponements and more games go into that mid-week. But there is an argument that you take that game out and you play it at a time no one else is playing, and you've had a bit of a rest, probably a good time to play it, and it's at home, isn't it? Bristol City, still only 2 defeats all season, and I am the new curse, aren't I? Because the 2 Bristol City games I have seen have been the 2 defeats, so I'm sure there'll be great interest when I next go to Bristol City. I kind of want them to lose before that, because I don't want to be accused of another curse like I was by all the Leeds fans last season. 8 draws though, most in the division, joint with Borough. I think I checked that after they'd drawn. Jeju back up the top after his suspension. Now he's back into midfield. Still a sense that Lee Johnson's going to need another transfer window, and this team doesn't really form itself properly until, I don't know, springtime this season. Bit transitional, so they're doing well. Bristol really missing a foe base, says John. Yeah, I totally agree. They put their chips in that one, hadn't they? And obviously got injured. Forest 5th, Bristol City 7th. What a win for Millwall. Game number 6, Swansea 0, Millwall 1. Yes, I did call that totally the other way round. Again, not quite as extreme as Derby. John says, Jed Wallace, best player in the Championship. Keep quiet or else he'll go to PSG to replace Mbappe. John Robertson there. A good winger's name there, John. Yeah, great goal by Wallace. I was going to say that Rowett, well, he's had 3 games. He's won the home games. He's lost the away games. Millwall always good at home. But this is a superb win, 0-1 up at Swansea. And yes, Jed Wallace is on absolute fire. I wonder what the guy who was sat 2 down from me at the Den, who was yelling at him all game last time I was at Millwall, thinks of his form. Brilliant free kick as well. So it looks like Woodman's got the wall all set up nicely. Wallace is going to have to curl into the far corner or blast it and dip it straight into the corner where Woodman is standing. He manages to do it. It's a really great free kick, actually, to go up and down the side where the keeper is and still find the corner. Great goal by Wallace. He is in brilliant form, isn't he? Swansea dropped down to 6th. They'd had a nice little run of 7 points in 3 games. Swansea are one of these teams that just mug me off every single week. A couple of the Millwall guys talking about Skalak should have had a penalty as well. I didn't see that in the highlights package, so I'll bow to your superior knowledge there, guys. Swansea, I thought, they had a good start at the start of the season. Now they're regressing to the mean. Then they had the 7 points in 3 games, so I think, oh no, they're the real deal. And now home defeat. The big picture is not good, though, actually. If you take out those, I think it was 5 wins and a draw in the first 6 for Swans. It's 3 wins in 12 games, which is poor, isn't it? And it's certainly not going to keep you in the top 6 if you roll that out over another 12 games for sure. So trending downwards after the great start. People think I'm down on Swansea. I'm not. They just always kind of stitch me up, and the trend is downwards. There's no argument with that stat at the moment. Millwall, outstanding under Rowett so far. Same as Mark Bowen in his first few games. 3 wins in 4, so that's 9 points in 4 games. 2 points per game, easy peasy. I questioned whether it was just a great home form, but they've gone away and they've won a tight game against a team above them in the table. And traditionally, under Neil Harris, particularly after the 17-18 season, Millwall didn't do that very often, did they? So the Millwall fans will be loving that. What else pricked up my attention is 3 at the back and kind of Wallace and Mahoney supporting Bodvarsson up the top there. John says Rowett to get a nice reception on Saturday. Where is he, John? Is he at one of his many former clubs now, Stoke, Derby or Birmingham? Might be a video coming up on that sort of thing. Wallace in sublime form. 5 goals and 2 assists in 7 games is outstanding. And there's been a couple of penalties in there, but those numbers do not lie, do they? He's in great form. Enjoying playing under Gary Rowett as well. Swansea 6th. Millwall up to 10th. Oh, it's Birmingham Rowett's going to go back to. Interesting. That should be a good game, actually. It'd be a good one to get to, actually. Let me think. Maybe. Swansea 6th, Millwall 10th. Right, game number 7. Brentford 1. Reading 0. Brentford, they're chipping away nicely. Billy says QPR have been found out now. Oh dear, watch us down the table. Billy, tell me, you get the youngsters back in. Nick's giving me the thumb up for the Bees. Nick, tell me in the chat, how many headers has Ollie Watkins scored this season? I always thought he was a dribbler and a low finisher, but keeps scoring headers here. Jensen, lovely cross in swinging. It's a really good header by Watkins. He smashes it into the corner. I guess that's like goal number 11 for the season. Cham says four headers. Must be more than that because I saw him score a header against QPR and he scored a hat-trick of headers at Barnsley and this one. So that's 5. I think Cham says no 5. Yeah, but that's outstanding, isn't it? 5-headed goals. Brilliant. Brentford really in good form now. They're top of the 6-game form table because they've won 5 in 6. And it was a typical Brentford one. It was at Huddersfield, wasn't it? They lost at home to. And if you extrapolate it out longer, that's 22 points in the last 12. Chris says Pinnock was man of the match. Interesting. He's one of the reasons Barnsley are probably right down the bottom. Chem says Reading played okay, but we ground out the win. And that's what you've got to do. Norwich were very good at that last season. Just keep creating those shots, keep tight, keep the ball, and you will win, especially at home if you are Brentford. They're definitely hitting playoff form. They always break our hearts when they get close, though, don't they, us purists? They're now sitting 8th, so they're in the pocket. They need another 4 games worth of 7 points or something. They really need to stay in there because we know what the pace is like up the top there, and 2 points per game when you're chasing is kind of a minimum to kind of bring you up into those levels. But they're in striking distance of that 4th to 6th spot. But we know what the Championship's like. You do 1 point over 2 games and you're down 5 places, aren't you? Reading experienced defeat for the first time under Mark Bowen, although Puskás had a big chance there, didn't he? John says Brentford will sell their best players come January. That's the model, isn't it? If Dean Smith comes with 25 million for Ben Rama, you sell, don't you? So they just need the replacements nice and early. Hopefully they're already there. Steady with the team selection. He's got a little cushion, Mark Bowen, here above the bottom 3, but they don't want to end up with that was as good as it got that first run of games, and they slide back down into that bottom 6, especially with Stoke and Huddersfield coming between. Cham says we're financially sound this season compared to the previous ones. John says Ben Rama done deal. So there you go. It's all about the opinions, isn't it? Cham is right though that the amounts have just gone up and up and up and up. So there should be some money in the coffers, but if you're Brentford and you have that, we know they outspend their turnover on wages. That's how they get the good players in, and that's part of the model, which is fine. It does mean you have to sell when the good money comes in. There's Conser being played for Aston Villa. I don't know. I don't follow the Premier League, so someone let me know about that. Brentford 8th, Reading 18th. On we go. Charlton versus Cardiff. It was 2-2. Guys, give me your feedback as well. I did the first of my Sky sort of reviews where I watched on TV and went straight in with a live stream. Let me know what you think of that concept. I'm not going to stop going to games, but it will mean I can do a lot more, and I'm not in the doghouse with my missus quite as much for, I don't know, driving to Hull on a Saturday and taking up the whole day. So Cham says on Brentford, we sold 57 million so far this year, bought in 37 million, 20 million surplus. Good work by those Brentford recruiters. Anyway, Charlton, Gallagher gives them the lead after Lecco's fudge shot. Lecco then himself finishes, nice carry and assist from Oztuma. Then we get into the second half, missed penalty from Hoylett, terrible penalty, but Mendes Lang brings it back to 2-1. Tomlin gives the keeper the eyes for 2-2, and Neil Harris gets a point on his first game. Charlton will feel that they should have won, having been 2-0 up. They're coping with the injuries admirably, but then they lose Josh Cullen in this one. And that Cullen and Gallagher axis with Pratley or whoever it was, Oshilaja, this game has been so vital, hasn't it? One of them sits and those two just buzz about everywhere, so they will miss Cullen. Big picture though, again, I keep saying that, don't I? The amazing first 6 games, it's been a struggle. 9 points in 11, that's relegation form, isn't it? That Charlton are in over the last 11. They need Johnny Williams back, they need Lyle Taylor back. I understand with those two why they would cottonwool them back, but there's 10 games coming up very quickly. If they're, another 3 weeks is another 5 games now, isn't it? So they're going to need those guys back in. Cardiff, first game under Harris, be happy to get out of there with a point. But again, given the missed penalty, they will feel like they should have got something. Medine in from the cold up front. You really feel they could use Glatzel, Ward, Rolls, Morrison, Bamber going forward. Surely, are we going to see a Neil Harris 4-4-2 with... I don't know which two he'd go for, Glatzel and Ward, Medine and Ward. Probably Ward and one other, a big guy and a bit more of a runner. But I think we'll see an orthodox 4-4-2 sooner rather than later for Neil Harris. Charlton 14th, Cardiff down to 16th now with that draw. Not good for a Year 1 parachute team, is it? But we do miss you, Neil Warnock. Game number 9, Borough 2, Hull 2. Again, I did a review of this one, so check that one out. Tavernier pokes in McNair's cross on 6. Fletcher, brilliant goal here, combining with Assombalonga, who was really at it in this game. Middlesbrough playing really well, 2-0 up, but this is what happens when you're down the bottom. One of your players does a dumbass tackle. Marvin Johnson gets a red card, and it completely changes the game. Reminded me of when Joe Allen got sent off for Stoke earlier this season, with Stoke winning 1-0 when Nathan Jones couldn't buy a win. Not what you need. And then enter Jared Bowen. Someone said earlier, another player, I can't remember who it was, he's just too good for this league. Well, so is Jared Bowen, isn't he? Gets in the 10 position, smashes in the long ranger, and then just so much more alert and alive and energetic for the second. And it is 2-2. As I say, Hull were completely out of this one, but kudos for McCann. He saw Borough were there for the taking, took out a defender, freed up Bowen around Big Eves. And Bowen, imperious as ever, 7 goals in the last 6 games. I know I'm like a broken record about Ben Rama and Bowen and people like that, but Bowen, what a player. Hey, hope he stays till the end of the season, but hey, big money comes in generally. Although Spurs was always the link, and Pochettino's gone now, and Mourinho won't sign someone from the Championship, will he? So maybe he stays a bit longer. Hull do drop a couple, but they're in that massively squished up 10th to 17th area where there's only sort of 3 points. Borough, they just need a win, don't they? 10 games without a win, 5 points in 10 games, horrible. So your 0.5 points per game is abject relegation form over, that's coming up for a quarter of a season if that goes another couple of games. So not good at all. They looked really good for half an hour, didn't they? But they've got to translate it into 3 points. Big game against Barnsley coming up, although Barnsley will think the same thing. We can get the win there. So out of the bottom 3 though, but at the moment, Borough are relying on Luton and teams below them being bad, not themselves doing well. Hull 14th, Borough 21st. Game number 10, Blackburn 3, Barnsley 2. Quite the game, this one. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2 to Blackburn in the end. 24, Barnsley get caught playing out. Armstrong, clever little square to Dak, who's having a good season. Let's hope he doesn't come down with the Christmas decorations like he did last season, because if he puts a whole season together, then that's a nice asset for Tony Mowbray to maybe trade on. 48. Mowat onto Brown into the left channel. Nice third man run by Chaplin. Brown finds him and smashes it in with the left foot. A couple of Millwall fans asking for if Millwall can hold on to Jed Wallace, by the way. Remember, your ex-manager now has access to parachute money as well. So whether he fancies a bit of Jed Wallace at Cardiff, we'll see. I would have thought he'd go after Jake Cooper before Jed Wallace, but Millwall fans won't be too pleased about that. Anyway, back to Blackburn, and they go 2-1 up on 69. Rothwell into the box. Bounces back for Downing, a lesser spotted right-footed goal by Stuart Downing. Lovely finish, actually. Some score for Ipswich, actually, for Borough of his, against Ipswich for Borough of his right foot. So he can do it. They equalise again. Brown does well, involved again. His cross gets spilt by Walton, and then Chaplin, quick recycle and cross, and Woodrow, that's his 7th of the season. That's really good for a bottom place team. He's got 7 in 14, so if he plays 40 games, he's going to get 20 goals this season. If they can tighten up at the back, could be the difference, couldn't he? But when you concede as many goals as Barnsley do, not going to happen. 86 is the winner for Blackburn. Free kick banged. It's poor from Barnsley. Come on, concentrate. Big free kick in Lenihan wins it, and nobody goes with Dak. And criminally, not only do they not go the first time, but he heads it, it's saved, and then he has time to react and put it in. Come on, Barnsley. Learn how to defend, for goodness sake. A lot of good stuff happens at Barnsley, but just defensively, so bad. Blackburn, 2 wins in 3 now, which is a nice little boost up the table. They've shown character in tough games at home. Dak now 7 goals, which has taken up the goal scoring slack from Sam Gallagher, who's not really doing it. Barnsley, so it's the first game under Gerhard Struber. Obviously, look, they showed a lot of character to come back twice. But then to get yourself back twice and just concede a goal from a set play banged into the box, not good, not good. 36 conceded for the season. So if you extrapolate that out, Barnsley on course to concede 97 goals. So that's confirmed relegation if they don't sort out their defensive woes. Hopefully Gerhard Struber can get on top of that. Remember, a lot of inexperienced players, but I like Mowat and I like Woodrow. There's something to build on there. Brown played well, Chaplin, good goal. You know, there's some technically good players there, but do you know what they could do with a loan in a 35-year-old central defensive midfielder or something, couldn't they? Just throw in there and organise everything. Blackburn 17th, Barnsley still bottom, 24th. Look out for that Borough and Barnsley game coming up. Game number 11, Huddersfield 1, Birmingham 1. Birmingham finally draw a game, my God. And what an assist by Trevor Chalobah. He never did this for Ipswich last season, did he? This is literally like Kaká putting it through to Crespo in the Champions League final. David says Barnsley, Wigan and Luton are pretty nailed on, he thinks. If there's other moves, bigger clubs around them, we'll see if you're right, David. Anyway, let's not ruin Trevor Chalobah's amazing assist there to pick out Fraser Campbell, who sticks in. Great goal, that one. Blues equalise on 78. Free kick in from the left. It's flicked on. Really good flick on, actually, because he's crouched right down. And then Roberts puts the header in for 1-1. So Birmingham's first draw in 14 games. And the away record has been terrible, hasn't it, for Birmingham? 7 defeats in the previous 8. John says we were poor, did well to draw this one. Pep went a little more defensive to stop the rot. Interesting, I did notice this, John. Been saying for a while that they need a partner for Jutkovic. Who scored says it was a 4-2-3-1. So you don't need a partner if you can get 2 wide players up supporting. The idea was Bella, was that his debut? I guess maybe his first start. And Magoma down the right, Crowley in the 10 position, Sunic and Bellingham the double pivot. So yeah, a bit more, one up top, but trying to get support. He obviously doesn't fancy Jimenez or Mrabti as a partner for Jutkovic. Yeah, maybe that formation stays for a few weeks. I'm sure Johnny watches loads of Birmingham will let us know about that one. Huddersfield, first little drop off actually. 1 point in 2 games for the Cowleys. Montero changed the game, yeah. The very mercurial Jeff Montero. Still in the bottom 6, Huddersfield, so need to keep the momentum up to account for that awful start. Birmingham 15th, Huddersfield 19th. Last one here, Stoke 2, Wigan 1, Jack Butland back in goal, and this seems to be about his 20th calamitous error of the season. the England goalkeeper, Jack Butland. He comes charging out. He's just trying too hard, isn't he? Trying to stop low, cleans everyone out. The ball bounces back. And I do have some sympathy for Butland because every time he messes up, whoever it goes to just sticks it straight in the net. Even Sam Morsey, the yellow card machine, who opens the scoring. 55, delicious delivery from Ryan Woods. Michael O'Neill seems to have brought him back in. Great player for Brentford Woods. Danny Bart sticks something in from 1 yard. And Mama Diouf, whatever happened to him? He scores on 93. Huge boot down the ground. Wigan don't win the first ball. Then Ince charging in. Nervous. Runs for Diouf. Pops in the winner. Horrible run continues for Wigan. 4 defeats and a draw in the last 5. That's probably second only to Luton for bad form at the moment. In those 5 games, though, Derby scored a 92nd minute winner. Bristol City equalised on 86. Swansea scored a 93rd minute winner, and Stoke have now scored a 93rd minute winner. I know ifs, buts, maybes, if my aunt was my uncle, etc. But take out all of those late goals, and they're 5 points further on than they are. It's going to get in their heads now, all the late stuff, in the same way that kind of the away form has for Wigan. So, not looking good if it carries on that trajectory. Only 1 point now also. It's a big goal. That 1 point separates Wigan in 20th and Stoke in 23rd, which means they can obviously trade places in the next game week. Stoke back-to-back wins for the second time in 7 games. 2 of them were under Nathan Jones, weren't they? So that's all right form. That's 12 points in 7 games. That's certainly sort of lower mid-table form rather than relegation form. But we've seen Stoke win 2 and then lose again, maybe a bit different than Michael O'Neill. And all the doubters, like me, I have to say, I said, what preparation has Michael O'Neill done? He's done 2 games with Northern Ireland. Well, I can shut up, can't I? Because he won. And that's the ultimate response from any manager. He went and he proved the doubters wrong. Wigan 20th, Stoke 23rd, but trending in different directions. Right, that is our 12 games for this game week. Top scorer still Mitro with 12, although he was suspended, which means Ollie Watkins, who scored, and Jarrod Bowen, who scored twice, have just closed up to within 1 goal. Colin Grant stays on 9. Wells, Hugill and Johnson on 8. Hugill getting the goal. Yes, Nick, I'll try and get to commentary. Best defence is still Leeds, only 10 conceded so far. What have we played? 17, very impressive. So it's really interesting in these best defence stakes. You've got Leeds on 10, Forest and Brentford on 13, Wednesday on 16 and Swansea on 17. So you have a mixture of 2 teams that are well organised, Forest and Wednesday, and 3 teams that keep the ball very well. And that's how they don't concede chances, Leeds, Brentford and Swansea. It's always interesting. I always remember watching Swansea come up. Ibra says, Ben, can you update me for the next show? Yes, sorry, I've been very disorganised. Hopefully it'll be on it'll be on Friday if it's the preview. Might do a big review on Thursday. We will see. The key passes, always look at these stats. It really does give away who those important players creatively are in the teams. We have from 10 to 1, Ryan Manning, QPR, Matis Klitsch, Leeds, Matis Pereira, West Brom, Barry Bannon, so predictable, isn't it? Sheffield Wednesday, Fran Villalba, sorry, I always say that well. Pablo Hernandez, Stuart Downing, Alex Moa, Izzy Brown, John Swift. I think most of that passes our eye test when we go to games. Those players always seem to be standing out and playing those key passes. Right, if anyone's got any questions, I will take questions in the feed. I will apologise again. When's the preview, says Lewis. I need to do some writing. I'll probably try and get something out maybe early tomorrow morning, all down to the preparation if I want to do it properly. Certainly won't be live, but I'll try and get something out, Lewis, certainly in good time to watch before tomorrow. Just getting back into the swing of the channel. Thoughts on the Leeds QSI stuff? Jaggy Babs asks, is this the takeover stuff? It's been rumbling for ages and ages and ages. It looks like it will happen in the end because I think Radrazani kind of thinks he can take them so far. I think the business model for Radrazani is to get them up and cash in with investment then. But it's a golden egg, isn't it? Leeds in the Premier League if he can get them up. Jaggy said it's been picking up in the last week. I think Nick just asked when I'm next seeing Leeds. Do you know? I don't know. We've got Luton, Charlton, QPR, Forest, this week. I must get to an Ipswich game as well soon. Ipswich playing Wycombe in the massive top of the table League One clash. Let me know if there's any more questions in the feed. If not, I'll quickly plug my Twitter for those not watching live. At Benjamin Bloom, always up for chatting football there. Give us a follow. Obviously, if you like the Championship, come and join all of these really smart people in the feed who watch their teams every week. I try and keep across everything, but you cannot beat the insight of somebody there. Jaggy says, don't go to Leeds, we can't afford it. It's not my fault, is it, Jaggy? Anyway, the curse has transferred to Bristol City this season, hasn't it? One of the best performances this season, I think, was Leeds, but it was on the opening day against Bristol City. And then I've seen them lose twice since then, haven't I? Yeah, okay. I'll keep away from Leeds for the time being. I'll save it for the run-in then, shall I, Leeds fans? Right, thank you everybody for watching. One more plug. You can support me on Patreon if you enjoy what I do. I'd love to do this full time, but at the moment I'm fitting it around my teaching job that I do. So yeah, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom is a little bit of help. Maybe if that all stocks up and we get the ad revenue here, we will see. How many players can perform at -7 degrees centigrade? I don't know. Not many. Probably mostly the Russian and Icelandic and Nordic players, I guess, playing in those Arctic temperatures. Also, if you are willing to give me a bit of feedback, let me know how you feel about the when I've done a game on Sky and getting a live stream. If that's something you guys want to see on the channel, do let me know, because it's obviously a good way to cover games and a bit cheaper and less time consuming. Not that I'm going to stop going to games, because I have many plans to go to many more games. Okay, that is all she wrote for this review. Thank you everyone who tuned in, especially those people who lasted all 36 goddamn minutes, a long way. Give it a thumbs up, get involved in the comments, and we'll see you very soon. Over and out.